Hello everyone and welcome to the History Almanac, where we explore the fascinating events and people of the past. In this video, we're going to talk about one of the most important battles in English history, the Battle of Hastings. The Battle of Hastings took place on October 14th, 1066, between the Norman-French army of William, Duke of Normandy, and the Anglo-Saxon army of King Harald Godwinson. It was the decisive clash that ended Anglo-Saxon rule of England and began the Norman Conquest. But how did this battle come about? Well, it all started with the death of King Edward the Confessor in January 1066. Edward had no children, so he left behind a succession crisis. There were several claimants to the throne, but the main contenders were Harald Godwinson, Earl of Wessex and Edward's brother-in-law, William of Normandy, Edward's cousin and a powerful ruler in France, and Harald Hardrada, King of Norway and legendary Viking warrior. Harald was crowned king shortly after Edward's death, but he faced invasions from both William and Harald. Harald teamed up with Harold's rebellious brother Tostig and landed in northern England with a large army. Harald marched north to meet them and defeated them at the Battle of Stamford Bridge on September 25th, killing both Harald and Tostig. While Harald was busy fighting in the north, William had landed in the south with his own army. He had secured the support of Pope Alexander II, who gave him a papal banner and declared Harald a usurper. William also claimed that Harald had sworn an oath to him on holy relics to support his claim to the throne. William set up base at Pevensey and began raiding in the surrounding area. Harald had to march south again with his exhausted army to face him. The two armies met near Hastings, on a hill called Senlac Ridge. The battle lasted from about 9 AM to dusk, and it was a brutal and bloody affair. The Anglo-Saxon army was composed of mostly infantry, armed with spears, swords and axes. They formed a defensive formation called a shield wall, where they stood shoulder to shoulder and held their shields in front of them. The Norman army was more diverse, with infantry, cavalry and archers. They had better armour and weapons than the Anglo-Saxons, but they faced a disadvantage in terrain and numbers. The battle began with a volley of arrows from Norman archers, but they had little effect on the shield wall. Then the Norman cavalry charged up the hill, but they were met with a fierce resistance from the Anglo-Saxons. The shield wall held firm and pushed them back. William then tried a clever tactic. He ordered some of his troops to pretend to flee in panic, hoping to lure some of the Anglo-Saxons out of their position. This worked. Some of the Anglo-Saxons broke ranks and chased after them. The Normans then turned around and attacked them from behind, breaking their formation. This happened several times during the battle, gradually weakening the shield wall. The Normans also used their archers to fire at an angle over the shield wall, hitting some of the Anglo-Saxons in the back or head. The turning point came when Harald himself was killed. There are different accounts of how this happened. Some say he was shot in the eye by an arrow, others say he was hacked down by a Norman knight, others say both. What is certain is that his death demoralised his army and led to their retreat and defeat. William had won the battle and secured his claim to the throne. He marched on London and was crowned King of England on Christmas Day 1066. He became known as William the Conqueror and changed the course of English history. The Battle of Hastings was a pivotal moment in medieval history. It marked the end of an era and the beginning of a new one. It also left behind a rich legacy, a magnificent tapestry that depicts the events leading up to and during the battle, a new language that blended French and English, and a new culture that shaped England for centuries to come. And that brings us to the end of our video on the Battle of Hastings. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more history videos. Until next time, stay curious and keep learning.